Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the possible backstory for Feitan Portor of the Phantom Troop. So, I just have to clarify before I begin the video, this is based off the theory that Feitan is actually a member of the Zoldyck family, right? This is probably one of the most popular theories in Hunter x Hunter at the moment because he has so many similarities to the family. He kind of looks like a black-haired Killua in a lot of scenes, or maybe like a skinny Miluki, right? But that's not what I want to get into, right? I kind of have a very good theory on why Phaeton would be a member of the Zoldyck family and how that could be possible. Now, we need to take a look at the Phantom Troop backstory that we did get in the manga and at some of the rules of Meteor City and how things were going on at that time, right? So, one of the friends of the Phantom Troop in the actual backstory was a person by the name of Sarasa, this little girl who was friends with Crollo and just a sweet person in general, right? She loved to sing and dance, and she helped out with their Power Ranger dubbing thing, right? That they did. And it was kind of heartwarming, right? Because they're all orphans and they're making the most out of their situation until she was ultimately brutally murdered by human traffickers. And that is very terrible, but it does explain why the Phantom Troop are the way they are today, right? Not, giving an excuse to everything they've done because two wrongs don't make a right whatsoever, right? But um, Meteor City had a lot of terrible people at that time. And the whole point of Crollo, he took like a break, right? Because he originally Uvogin wanted to go after those guys, but Crollo knew there was no way to do that yet. So they wanted to wait till the internet advanced, right? So they could go on the dark web and hopefully find a video of Sarasa's death and then go take out the people. And we did eventually see that, not them killing them, but that they waited and they got a little bit older and more matured and were all together and then all went out to go avenge Sarasa, hopefully, even though we didn't see that part, right? But that's just kind of to describe how terrible Meteor City was to live in because it's full of human traffickers, criminals, probably, a word I can't say on YouTube, you already know, Griffiths and people like that. But at the same time, if we're going to go even further back now, right? Because the parent of Phaeton Portor would most likely be Kikyo Zoldyck, and I'm going to explain why. Because Kikyo is originally from Meteor City, and that would imply that Silva could have saved her from a terrible situation. Now, I'm going to explain how I think that would have went, and you guys let me down below. Let me know down below what do you guys think about it, all right? So, Silva would probably be around aged 20, and he would be hired by the elders of Meteor City, right? And Meteor City doesn't have a direct leader, but there's just a group of elders that take care of children and, deal with minor issues like that the city isn't overrun or whatever, right? Even though terrible things happen over and over again, they really can't stop much of it anyway, right? And this is exactly why they're hiring a trained assassin because Silva at age 20 is probably a demon, right? He just was taught by Zeno and Maha, and he's learning a lot. Our boy is already becoming a demon at this point. So when he goes out to go find a member of the elders' family members, right? A daughter, which would be Kikyo Zoldyck, right? Let's say he quickly goes and tracks down a group of human traffickers. He takes them out quickly, right? Because he's a trained assassin and he's probably not in his prime, I wouldn't say that, but he's very strong at this point, right? He's young and athletic, so he can do crazy things, probably piercing through people or punching them to literal mush, right? Um, and then he could see a woman laying in a cage. And I know this is dark now, but this would explain Kikyo's character, right? She's laying there in a cage holding a baby. Now, when Silva goes and, grabs her and it's like, all right, I saved you. Let me go take you to the client. Kikyo would instantly fall in love because Killua did state that his parents actually love each other. It's real love. It's not like, Kikyo's addicted to him in an unhealthy relationship. It's not, because the scene where Killua tells Nanika, kill our mother if we're not out of here in the next 30 minutes. Silva instantly folds for his shoddy. You know what I mean? He instantly says, oh my god, bro, you're not killing my girl. So he lets them go, and that explains that Silva most likely was he fell in love with Kikyo in that moment. So what probably happened is Kikyo gave up the baby to the Meteor City elders, and that would make sense because Feitan was raised by the Meteor City elders and the nannies there, right? Because if you're a little child, they're not going to let you just, you know, sit in a pile of junk and die, you know? They're going to help you become something. It's just not really going to be something great, because you're in trash town basically, you know? But now Kikyo would most likely neglect the baby because it's going to bring back terrible memories, right? And she just got saved by an assassin who's rich and has a mansion, and Kikyo wants to get far away from Meteor City because of all the horrors she experienced. That would definitely fit in with her character, right? And Meteor City has like this thing, this motto that everyone says. It's basically, we'll accept anything you leave here, but don't ever take anything away from us. So that probably had to be an equivalent exchange. But also, who is daring to tell Silva, yeah, no, don't take the love of your life away from Trash Town, right? He's taking his girl and they're out. But anyway, Silva would take Kikyo to Kukuru Mountain. They would get married. But we didn't see their backstory at all. This is why this is so interesting, right? We did not see their backstory whatsoever. So Silva going to Kukuru Mountain with Kikyo makes sense because she's from Meteor City in the information we know thus far, right? Now, Feitan is 28 years old, so this would make Kikyo 16 at the time, which isn't out of the question for anime and just the timeline in general, right? And Silva would be 20, so he's young enough, and that would just make sense because the Zoldycks are a very high-class family. So getting married young just probably makes sense for them. Now, Phaeton, after that, would be chilling around in the trash junkyard with Finks, right? And we seen in the Phantom Troop backstory that they're kind of like bullies to Crollo at first, right? But then they're like, all right, this Power Ranger shit is cool. So they sit there and they're watching it and they become friends with Crollo. Now, I think, this is my theory, is that maybe Phaeton was trained by another character, very mysterious character we don't know really anything about, and it's a character by the name of Renko, and it's heavily implied that she's the one that taught Machi how to stitch body parts together, right? And she was able to manifest her Nen ability after that, right? And it already was stated that she trained Machi and what's her Pakunoda, right? Now, Phaeton kind of has a dark aesthetic to him, kind of just like Renko. So maybe he was trained a little bit by her, maybe in the art of using a sword or something like that. That would just be cool and it would make sense. Let me know now. Let me know down in the comments below what do you guys think about that. You know, that's just a cool little thing that they're not going to animate it or anything, but that would just make sense, just headcanon wise, right? But yeah, that would be how Feitan would be a member of the Zoldyck family, right? There is a few inconsistencies, obviously, because Phaeton is a transmuter, and all members of the Zoldyck family that have black hair are manipulators. So that's a little bit crazy, right? And at the same time, for him to have all these assassin abilities that we do see Phaeton using, because he has the sharp hands, right? We don't see we don't see Silva or Zeno doing it, but they can probably do that if they're trained assassins. And I don't know if Kikyo can do that as well because she's not a blood member of the Zoldyck family. But like I said, it's interchangeable though, right? It could be all right. Silva in his prime got a girl pregnant and dipped. He can do whatever he wants. He's Silva Zoldyck. He's rich. He was probably very immature in his prime and didn't really care about things like that. So it's not mistakenable if he has a child out there, right? No, like nobody's questioning that. That would just be a simple answer to the question. Anyways, guys, please let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys think about this theory? Do you think that Silva and Kikyo Zoldyck could possibly be the parents of Phaeton Portor? Because it is a big thing that a lot of people think about, right? He looks so similar to Killua, and he's just an assassin badass. But please, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. As always, guys, it's been Revenge. Peace.